back to Legal Matters. It's time to welcome John Hanson from the American Law Firm. Thanks for joining us again.
Well, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Always great to have you. And in tonight's opening statement, John and I will prepare to discuss two areas of law that affect a lot of people in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. We'll focus on how to best move forward if you've been arrested for a DUI or if you've suffered a personal injury. But first, I'd like to remind our viewers of the multiple practice areas that the American Law Firm concentrates in. The American Law Firm is a general practice law firm that concentrates in divorce and family law cases, bankruptcy matters, personal injury claims, criminal traffic and DUI issues, wills, trusts, and probate matters, and real estate and business transactions. So please feel free to call tonight and discuss any of these practice areas with attorneys that are standing by right now. And before we get to tonight's topics, first tell us a little bit more, John, about the American Law Firm.
Sure. The American Law Firm is based in Rockford, and we're near the intersection of Mulford and State, if you know where that is. And like you said, we are a general practice firm, which basically means we have a lot of lawyers that do a lot of different things. And one thing I'd like to mention is there's a reason why we're called the American Law Firm. We believe in the American values of honest hard work and respect for individuals, no matter their background, no matter their problems. And this kind of plays out in what we call the Client Bill of Rights. Like our country has a Bill of Rights, our clients also have a Bill of Rights too that basically affords them hard work in their case and timely responses to their questions. And that's kind of our mantra with representation for each client. And that's why we're called the American Law Firm.
And I would bet that every one of the viewers out there have visited a doctor before, but many have not visited a lawyer before. So what can they expect? What's your approach that you take at the American Law Firm to deal with that?
Sure. I mean, pursuant to that Client Bill of Rights, we do offer certain things to our clients. For prospective clients, we offer free consultations in any area of law that we practice. And clients can come in and just talk about their issues, and we'll give them some options. And we know it takes a lot of guts to come in and see us. I mean, a lot of clients that come see us, they're anxiety-ridden, they're nervous, and it takes a lot of courage. And so we sit down with them, take some time to listen to what's going on in their lives, and we give them some legal options after the consultation. A couple other things we offer is simple flat fees for attorney's work, which clients enjoy because they can budget at the front end for how much a case is going to cost. Sure. Also, thirdly, we offer payment plans for some clients in financial hardship, which can help out for a lot of people. So several different things people can hear when they come see us, but the main thing to focus on is free consultations, and we'll listen to their issues and give them some options.
The key is putting people at ease because they have enough stresses at the time. Right. All right. Well, so tell us some of the basics about DUI law in Illinois, John.
Sure. DUI means driving under the influence, as most people know. And in Illinois, that actually encompasses all types of driving under the influence, which could mean alcohol or drugs, like legal or illegal drugs. Now, for alcohol-related DUIs, your blood alcohol content in Illinois cannot be over 0.08% when you're tested by the police, unless you're under the age of 21, in which case you can't have any alcohol in your blood whatsoever. That's what they call zero tolerance rule.
Okay. How does a typical DUI case get resolved then?
Sure. At the American Law Firm, we analyze each case separately and uniquely. And, hopefully a person will not be found guilty of the DUI, or otherwise they'll have the case dismissed. But if a person is charged with a first-time DUI, and there's good evidence to back that charge up, then that person could get what's called court supervision in many cases.
No, we hear that a lot, court supervision with DUI cases. How does that work?
Well, court supervision is basically a period of time that a person who's charged with a DUI gets to successfully complete some requirements. And if they complete those requirements successfully, it means they will not have a conviction on the charge. The concept's kind of like a continuance in court, pending the defendant's good conduct with dismissal of the charges upon compliance of those conditions handed down by the court. Now, some of the standard conditions in a court supervision scenario can include alcohol education or treatment, attending a victim impact panel in some cases, and also paying the court fines.
So how is a person's driver's license affected when someone gets a DUI?
Sure. The law provides for automatic suspension of driving privileges of the driver arrested for the DUI, so it's automatic. Now, this is for a driver who fails or who refuses to submit to a breathalyzer test. The period of suspension we're talking about is a minimum of 1 year.
All right, so how soon can someone drive after his or her license is suspended? I mean, that gives you an idea that it's just 1 year?
Sure. It gets a little bit technical here, but as of January 2009 in Illinois, if you're a first-time offender for a DUI, you can drive during the period of your suspension if you install an ignition device in your car called the Bay device. These devices require you to blow into them before your call will run, basically.
We have about 30 seconds left in that time. Can you kind of explain your approach of how to deal with DUI defense of your client?
Right. Hard to compress it into 30 seconds,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of work that goes into it. We'll take the case seriously because the outcomes can be really severe. So people should call us, have a free consultation, and talk about their options with our qualified attorneys in our law firm. But we'll review the evidence the state has. We'll look at the police reports. We'll analyze any chemical tests they did. And in some cases, we'll actually get our own independent tests for blood or chemical tests just to see that the tests are accurate. We'll also file motions sometimes in courts on behalf of the client for the court to negotiate a favorable conclusion to their case.
Okay, and remember, attorneys are standing by right now, so call the number on your screen if you want to speak to an attorney from the American Law Firm. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about personal injury cases. That's when we return with Legal Matters.
Picture experience. Legal experience in many areas of law. Dedication. Giving full attention to each client and their individual legal needs. Affordability. Offering simple flat fees and payment plans. Now picture the American Law Firm. Call the American Law Firm today at 815-394-1776 for your free consultation.
It's Mike Garrigan and attorney John Hanson from the American Law Firm as we continue to talk legal matters that affect many state liners in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. If you want to talk to an attorney right now, you can live for free. Just call the number on your screen. An attorney from the American Law Firm will be on the other end to answer your call. And you did mention, John, one of the areas of law your firm is focusing on is personal injury. What are some key things people should know about personal injury law?
Right. Well, personal injury lawyers, they seek compensation for injured persons, basically. And there's many types of personal injury cases out there that we handle. There's your basic car accidents, obviously, but there's also semi-tractor-trailer accidents, motorcycle accidents. We'll also represent clients for class action suits where there's a case against a pharmaceutical company, for example, or a maker of medical equipment. There's wrongful death cases we'll handle where someone's unfortunately passed away as a result of an accident. Even nursing home negligence and medical malpractice cases. So a big, wide variety of cases under that umbrella. One key feature of these cases I want to mention, though, is that attorneys will, like our law firm, represent clients without charging attorney's fees as they work the case. The attorneys only take a percentage of whatever's recovered at the end, if anything's recovered at the end. It's called a contingency fee.
Okay, that gives us some ideas, but I bet you a lot of viewers are probably wondering what personal injury lawyers do in general and how a typical personal injury case will work itself out.
Sure.
Can you kind of detail that?
Yeah, at the start, normally the personal injury attorneys at our firm will make a claim with an insurance company. And the insurance company is basically insuring the other party, the at-fault party. And oftentimes we'll attempt to reach a settlement at the beginning of the case for the damages our client has suffered. And if the direct deal with the insurance company doesn't work out, then we'll go to the second route often, which is to file a lawsuit in civil court and eventually get into a trial in front of a jury to seek a verdict for their damages. And so you first have the insurance deal and then you'll have the lawsuit path after that. And a lot of this, what we're dealing with in these cases is called pain and suffering damages, which is kind of an amorphous amount of money to compensate people for the harm they've suffered and the ripple effect of the damages. And it's called pain and suffering award.
Okay. And what claims are usually made by you on behalf of the injured client?
Sure, to kind of go through the list of typical claims, you would have past and future medical bills. You'll have past and future lost wages if they miss time from a work job. You'll have past and future pain and suffering, like I talked about, which is kind of that general ambiguous dollar figure. In some cases, you'll have a spouse of an injured party, and the spouse has a claim for their own, which is a loss of relationship and loss of earnings. And in some cases, unfortunately, if there's a death involved, the family of the deceased person has a claim for that loss of relationship and loss of earnings as well. So many different claims.
And that is the ultimate worst scenario, the wrongful death situation. How does that different from other types of personal injury cases?
It definitely is a little bit different because in a wrongful death case, there's essentially two main claims that we make. One, the first claim is basically for the party who passed away. If there is a period of time where they suffered before they passed away, then they have a claim of their own, essentially. And then the second claim would be for the family, as I mentioned. If somebody passes away in a family, they could be the bread earner for the family. They could be the one who supported them. And so there's a claim the family has that we represent, which is the loss of the relationship and loss of potential earnings too.
I would imagine one of the more popular, I wouldn't say popular, it's probably a wrong word, but one of the more common causes of personal injury is a car accident.
Right.
What should a person do if he or she is in a car accident?
Sure. You know, it is probably the most common cause of injuries in personal injury cases. And there's kind of a little laundry list I have that I recommend people follow. The first is if you're in an accident, you call the police and you have them come out and make a report. Even if the accident seems kind of minor, it's still good to have a police officer there, an objective party, to make a report and have that source of information. Secondly, get all the parties' information in the accident. The other driver, any other drivers, any witnesses, get their name, address, phone number before you leave the scene. Thirdly, it's important to take photographs. A lot of people have smartphones now. They can shoot some pictures of the car, maybe of their injuries, and get them as soon as possible at the scene if you can. And more importantly, if you have any idea that you may be injured, just go to the doctor and get checked out, even if you're not sure if you're injured. It's always best to go and not need it than not go and realize there was a mistake made. Couple things, key information. When you're at the scene of the accident, before you leave the scene, it's best not to talk to the other parties about what happened.
Okay.
Just talk to the police, tell them what happened, but keep it to that limit, basically. And then give us a call if you're in an accident. We can meet with you at a free consult and give you some options.
I think always the worst fear is the driver of the other car is not insured. Can you be compensated if that other driver doesn't have insurance?
You can in a lot of cases, and it's an all too common scenario right now. But if you're injured by a driver who doesn't have a license or doesn't have insurance, anything like that, you can sometimes go after your own insurance coverage called uninsured motorist coverage. We'll often represent clients for their own medical case, basically, and they'll get compensation for their medical bills, their injuries, and pain and suffering under their own insurance coverage. It's not the ideal scenario, but it's better than nothing. And so that's often a path they'll go down.
Okay, and again, attorneys are standing by from the American Law Firm if you have questions on personal injury, DUI, which we discussed, or any other topic that the American Law Firm covers. And I understand that we're going to stay about a half hour late, right, to answer phones? I mean,
yeah, I always want to mention the phones are probably going to be busy when people call, but just keep calling tonight and try to get through. And we have attorneys standing by right now to answer questions. We're going to stick around until 7:30, and they can keep calling. And even tomorrow, the next day, if they don't get in tonight, they can call us and we'll talk to them.
Okay, very good. Thanks again for your insight.
Thanks
and
for having me.
for your time. All right, we'll be back to wrap up Legal Matters when we come back.
Our country was founded on a Bill of Rights, which set a bold standard for the protection of individual rights, a standard set for the rest of the world to follow. At the American Law Firm, you also have a Bill of Rights as a client. By offering free consultations, simple flat fees, and payment plans to our clients, we deliver effective legal solutions to your problems and goals. Call the American Law Firm at 815-394-1776 to learn more about how we represent our clients and how we can protect you.